Hello, everyone out there on the internet. It's me, Amanda, with Once in a Wild Animal Encounters. We're ready to start our program here on Facebook live stream, as well as Instagram, too. We're over on Instagram, too, today. We hope you guys enjoy over there if you're familiar and prefer that platform. So we are an animal encounter company who normally takes animals to basically public parties. We go to classrooms. We go to nursing homes for animal therapy. Those are 3 examples of what we can do. And since we can't do that right now, we're bringing the animals to you virtually right here on the internet, right? So we're here on Facebook Live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30 Central Time until further notice. And we're also trying out Instagram Live as well to see how everybody likes it over on the gram too. Now, we do definitely encourage you guys to ask questions, especially on Facebook. On Facebook, I can actually highlight your questions and actually answer them right here on the platform very, very easily. On Instagram, it's a little bit hard to see you guys' questions, but as I see them, hello over there. I see you guys are joining in. Nice to see you. It's kind of far away because I have it set up on my phone, which is kind of far, and I'm not, my vision isn't the same as it used to be. So as I see your comments, I will try to address them and answer questions. But if you really have questions you would really like answered right away and highlighted, I suggest that you head over to Facebook so you guys can that's a little bit easier for me to use on this platform. So we're still learning. Thanks for having patience with us as we're adapting to new ways of getting the animals out there. For those of you on Instagram, you can already see our animal because you guys have a view like this, which is not a horizontal, but a vertical view. You can actually see our animal already, can't you? He's right here on the table. For those of you on Facebook, I want to go ahead and point out our information down below before we begin. We have our phone number here, 210-445-5240, onceonawild.com, which is, of course, our website. That's where you can find all of our links to all of our social media, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all the things. We're all over the place. So you guys can find all the links there and follow us on all the platforms. That's much appreciated. And also, this show is free, of course. All of our live stream shows are absolutely free of charge. But if you guys would like to tip or donate to our cause, we have a Venmo account, which is at Once in a Wild. And if you need our phone number for donating as well, sometimes the app will ask for the last 4 of the phone number. There they are, 5240. Same goes to you guys on Instagram. If you guys want to donate, head to Facebook and you can get all that Venmo information right there below. Or you guys can find us at Once in a While on Venmo. Very much appreciated for you guys' donations and tips, if you like what you see, of course. And if you want to help us keep going during these hard times, because we normally rely on public events to keep us going. And since we can't do public events right now because of their circumstances, we are humbly asking for donations in that manner. There's also another way you can actually donate to us at onceonawild.com. You can actually find our donate to our cause button all the way down at the bottom of that first page. When you hit onceonawild.com, scroll all the way down, it'll say donate to our cause in a great big box. You can't miss it. And that will take you to our Amazon wish list. You can also find our Amazon wish list right here on Instagram in the bio description. There's a link tree, which has all of our links there as well. And on Facebook as well, we have a link for our Amazon wish list. The Amazon wish list has all kinds of items which we need for our animals to take care of them. So even if we, no matter what's going on with humans out in the outside world, animals still need care, right? So we got to make sure and feed them, give them all the things that they need. So some of those things are luckily on Amazon and we can order them right to our location. So if you guys want to donate to Amazon, that would be fantastic. When you guys donate, I almost always do an unboxing video live, usually on Instagram, but sometimes I might do one on Facebook too, to do a unboxing so you guys can see your gifts being opened. And I might feature some of your enrichment items, which, by the way, enrichment is just something fun for the animals, or food items and things like that. I might feature those on one of our live streams soon. So that would be fun. Let's go ahead and get started. You guys have been so patient with waiting for the official show to begin. Let's go ahead and get started with our beautiful jingle. 1, 2, 3, go. Yes, it's here. We are not the ordinary, going down. All right, guys, hooray! All right, hooray! Thank you so much for being here with us today on Facebook live stream as well as Instagram. Let me know how the picture's looking. Let me know how the sound is working. This is a learning experience for all of us, so let me know if there's any issues whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and say hello to everyone. Laura says something. Hello. Jorge says hello. Nice to see you. Donna says hi. Lauren says hello. Steven says hi. Twinkle Cat says hey. Cedric is back and he says he's a handsome fella. We'll talk about him in just a quick moment. He sure is handsome. And he is a he. Good guess. It's so cute. Thank you. Too cute. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And over on Instagram, let's see what we've got going on. We got a question so far. Let's see. And again, I'm going to do my very best to answer your questions on Instagram. If there's a way for me to go back and answer your questions on Instagram, somebody let me know, because this is very new to me. Instagram's a little bit more complicated than Facebook with going back and answering questions. So let's see, and let's hold him in a way where everybody can see him. What is the best way to rescue a turtle if you see it on the side of the road? Is it best to pull over and put it on the other side of the road where you see them, or should I call the game warden? That is from Gemini 1379. Hello, hello. Good question. So yes, a turtle or a tortoise in the road can definitely be harmed by a car, right? So let's talk a little bit about tortoises. By the way, this is Shelton John the tortoise. He is a redfoot tortoise. He is smaller than the other tortoise that you already saw. This is Frank. We call him Frank Sinatra. That way he goes along with our musical and nerdy theme that we have going here Once in a While. So he came with the name Frank, and he's actually a donated tortoise to Once in a While. But both of these tortoises aren't found here in North America. They're found in South America, but they are kind of similar to tortoises you might see crossing the road right here. They all kind of look like a box turtle too. A lot of people ask if he's a box turtle because they have similar coloration. And he's not. He's a tortoise. I'll talk about some differences in here in a little bit. Frank says still, you're on Instagram. If you see a tortoise or turtle in the road, and that is very, very dangerous for them. So that's a great question. So what you want to do is you can pick them up very, very carefully if there's no cars going. I don't want to put you guys, in danger in the road if there's like the busy highway or something like that. We definitely don't want to encourage you guys jumping out in front of cars. So please be safe. If the road is not as busy and it's nowadays there's not much traffic, so maybe you'll have better luck. But if the road is slower, there's no cars and whatnot for you guys to get injured by, go ahead and you can actually pick up a tortoise kind of like this. Be very, very careful of some of your turtle species have long necks. So when you pick them up like this, for you guys on Facebook, you want to keep your hands away. You can kind of hold them a little bit further back like this. Stay away from their head because some turtles do bite very, very, very hard, like snapping turtles and other turtles like that. Even some of your soft shell turtles and red-eared sliders and some of those guys definitely can bite very, very hard. Chinny chin scratches, so cute. But you can definitely help them. I don't recommend this for children because number one, you're out on the road. You need to be with your adult. Please don't get hit by a car. That's not good for anyone. And also, I'm gonna turn my light down just a little bit bright. I look like a ghost. And also, you want to make sure if you are a child, you want to be picking up wildlife without supervision. But you don't necessarily have to call the game warden. That might take too long. Now, I'm not 100% sure laws that are in different states, but I know you're probably not going to get in trouble for just helping a tortoise cross the road or a turtle cross the road. Turtles are actually a lot faster than tortoises. That's one major difference between them. Tortoises, of course, are very, very slow, and turtles are a little faster. So a turtle might be able to be like encouraged across the road. You might be able to kind of like scare them or scoot them with a towel or something, and they might just run across the road. But a tortoise is very slow. So you can pick them up kind of further back like this. Be very, very careful of their nails and everything like that, but stay away from their neck and head. They can bite sometimes, especially if they're a wild tortoise. And always help them in the direction that they're going. Don't ever turn them around and put them in the direction behind them, because they are very stubborn and they're going that way for a reason in their tortoise or turtle brain. They're thinking, I need to go that way for some reason. They just really, really want to. So if you turn them around and face the opposite direction and put them on the other side of the road, even if it's like greener pastures and you think it's more beautiful, they're going to be stubborn and turn right back around and head across the road again. So the best thing you can do is put them in the direction they're already going. Again, don't recommend this for children. Don't recommend this for a busy road. Please be careful. Try to maybe, if you have like friends with you, your whole family's together, maybe stop traffic, put some cones up, something like that, so you're not you know, getting hit by a car. But that's the best way I can put that for you. I hope that made sense. So yes, you can help them. I have done that several times in my life. Now, if you don't know what you're doing and you just don't, you know, you've never handled a tortoise before, you've never handled a turtle, grab yourself a towel or maybe a shirt. You can put it like in front of them. That way you don't get bit, because you definitely don't want to get bit by these sharp beaks. Now, tortoises, there's Frank. He's so cute. Frank the Tank, somebody said. So he looks like E.T., doesn't he? One of my favorite movies, E.T. Or Morla, right? If you guys know what that's from, let me know. You're as nerdy as me. Morla. It's a great name for a tortoise. So again, this is Frank. He is a red-footed tortoise. You can see why they call them the red-footed tortoise, right? This is a species native to South America. Now, he is a significantly larger tortoise than Shelton, who is right here. Maybe I can lower this so you guys can see on the table. Made it a little easier for me. There we go. They're hanging out together right here. Oh, I blocked Instagram. Oh, dear Lord. Let's not do that all the way. So we have our two tortoises here. They're so cute. Frank is the big one and Shelton is the small one. You guys see them? There we go. This is a challenge. They want to keep, see how stubborn they are? They just want to keep moving, even though they are slow and steady. So both of these tortoises are the same species. And they're just different ages. So, by the way, I don't really know either one of their ages, because these guys were passed around to different homes throughout their lifetime. You guys can see him over here. These guys were passed around to different homes throughout their lifetime. And that often happens with tortoises, because guess what? If they become pets, a lot of times they live a long, long time, and that is their normal life expectancy is very, very long. These guys, as a species, aren't the longest lived tortoise in the world, but they can still live into their 60s or more. That's a long commitment. So a lot of people get a pet tortoise when they're very, very little baby tortoise, and then they grow up and they live a long, long time. Also, sometimes people will maybe purchase a pet for their children, and then their children move away, etc. There's a lot of reasons. He's so cute. And if you don't have the proper space, or you know, you don't know what you're doing, or maybe you're just tired of them, a lot of times they get handed down. So both of these tortoises are hand-me-down tortoises from different homes, actually, more than one other home, which is kind of sad, but I'm glad they're here with us, and they're going to be with us for the rest of their life. I definitely promise you that. We don't rehome any animals here once in a while. I mean, I really don't think we will. So that's not the plan at all. They will hang out with us and be animal ambassadors for the rest of their life, as long as I can help it. So Frank here came with the name Franklin. I think they were calling him Frank as well, but I just kept the name Frank, and we added Sinatra to the end of it because he's such a mellow, wonderful guy. And I imagine if he had a voice, it would sound kind of like Frank Sinatra. What do you guys think? And then Shelton here is the same species. He's just younger. You guys can see Frank while we're talking about Shelton over on Instagram. So he's just younger, though he's smaller. And again, I don't know either one of their actual ages, because I don't know when either one of these were born or hatched. So a reptile actually never stops growing their whole life, but also if they don't get proper care or enough food or enough heat or proper humidity and proper ultraviolet light, outside time, all those things are really important to tortoises. They may not grow properly. So Shelton, we guess, and the rescue group that gave him to us, which, by the way, I highly recommend if you're going to adopt any animal that you look for a rescue first. And if you can't find a rescue animal that's suitable to you, then you can go to a reputable breeder or source, okay? That's what we always recommend here at Once in a While for any pets or animal companions. I think Franklin over here is looking at or Frank Sinatra, excuse me, is looking at my this yellow rag that I have to wipe my hand. He's like, is that food? Looks like food to me. They like bright colors. So, what was I saying? Oh, we don't know their age, but the rescue group that gave him to me, they said that they guesstimated around 10 to 20. So anywhere from 10 to 20, maybe around 15 to round it, to kind of go midway there. So around 15 or so is what we estimate Shelton John's age is. And Frank, we don't really know. And I know the woman who was very, very sweet to give him to me had him for a while. And I have to ask her how long she had him. But he's adult size, but not all the way grown because they never stop growing. You can see how big he is. I put him next to my shoulder here. It looks like a great big shoulder pad. Ooh. And then if you see Shelton, he's quite a bit smaller, right? Same species though. But he's at least 20, I think, if not a little older than that. And this species of tortoise can live into their 60s or more, like we said. So what I'm going to do with our tortoises, I'm sure you won't mind, is I'm actually going to offer them some food. I'm going to have Shelton hang out next to me. I'm going to offer him some food, so maybe he'll stay put a little bit better. That way I'm not having to juggle so many tortoises. What do you think about this pepper? I'm giving Frank a pepper down below. Now, tortoises and turtles are very, very closely related. What do you think about that pepper? If you don't like it, I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't have any other food items today. Let's see how he likes it. What do you guys think? Eat the pepper. Yum, yum. You guys see him? Now that I moved him, he's like, nah, I don't want it. What if I tear it up a little bit? What do you think? You wanted my rag, but not the pepper? You silly goose. They like greens too. I wonder if Shelton would like some. Let's see. What do we think? Shelton, what do you think? He likes peppers usually. I'm gonna set him here. Come on, Shelton. Eat your food. Come on. I know you guys on Instagram are blocked. Oh no. If he starts eating, I'm gonna show you. Like everything they do, it's slow. So yeah, for you guys on Facebook, you can see him eating. He's so adorable. You guys on Instagram, I'll move you over a little bit so it's fair. Look at that. He's so cute. Maybe we just move the whole thing over for the whole time. It's a learning experience. So there he goes. He's eating his little pepper. Now, a big difference between turtles and tortoises is going to be their diet. So, of course, tortoises are slow, right? We talked about that a little bit with helping them across the road. Tortoises can be very, very slow. So most of their diet for this species is going to be grasses, leaves, plants, things like that. Look at him eat. He's so cute. Can you guys see him over here? Both platforms need to see. Oh my goodness. So they do move slowly. So that naturally would tell you that they might not be able to catch living things like other animals. Not to say that he couldn't catch the occasional slow-moving slug or very, very slow crawling worm or something like that. In fact, these guys will eat those animals, but they don't get a whole ton of them in the wild. And actually, they shouldn't really eat a ton of them in the care of humans either. So this species, especially, a lot of times people get confused. In my experience, a lot of people get confused whether or not they're supposed to be eating worms regularly or whether or not they're supposed to be eating meat regularly, dog food. But that, I think, comes from the fact that a lot of turtles, like box turtles, do eat those things. So box turtles are mostly land turtles, but they still can swim a little bit because all turtles can swim a little bit. But box turtles are omnivores, which is a big difference between them and a red-footed tortoise like this. Red-footed tortoises are herbivores, which occasionally snack on like maybe 1% to 2% of their diet can be like a worm every now and then. But overkill on those things is not good for them and can make actually abnormalities grow on their shell. You can see Shelton has some what we call pyramiding on his carapace. So this right here is the top of his shell, of course, you guys knew that. But the top of the shell, the top shell here on a turtle and tortoise is called a carapace. Carapace. And the bottom shell is called the plastron. Plastron. So there's different names for everything. And all these little parts, all the little kind of individual shapes here are called scutes. Isn't that cool? He's using his little legs to help him hold the... He's so cute. I'm gonna cry, guys. No, I just have an itchy nose. He's so cute. He's adorable. No, he's using his little legs to like eat the pepper. He's so adorable. Well, we're gonna see if Frank wants some after this. Maybe after he sees Shelton eating, he'll get jealous. But These guys are herbivores, like I said. So in the Care of Humans, here at Once in a While, we feed him about 80% dark greens, such as collard greens, mustard greens, dandelion greens. Those are 3 really good ones. They also eat grass out in our yard. We have St. Augustine grass and some other weeds and things that we feed him. That's really, really good food for them too. Now, if you don't know, like maybe you live in an apartment or you live in a house where you don't know if they're using pesticides or things like that on the grass, you should never ever let your animals eat that kind of thing because you don't know if there's poison on your plants. And always rinse your plants ahead of time before giving them to any animals, right? Even from the grocery store, and especially right now, right? We're trying to be safe even for our animals too. Ha ha ha. We can move over a little bit for Instagram to see a little better. Go ahead, buddy. Sorry to disturb you. There you go. 80% dark leafy greens like dandelion, mustard greens, and collard greens are great examples. There's others too that you can feed them. Grass and things like that is good if you know that there's no poison on your grass, of course. And also they can eat occasional treats of vegetables like peppers, all kinds of things, really anything that you can think of. I wouldn't give them like any onions or anything like that, but peppers are really good. Occasional fruit every once in a while. I don't feed my tortoises a ton of fruit because there's a lot of sugar in fruit, right? So I don't want to make them unhealthy, or and sometimes they can use the restroom too much if they're getting too much watery type things like fruits and really vegetables are fine. What was I saying? So things like, but they occasionally get fruits too for treats. But peppers and things like that to them are very, very sweet too. That's like candy to them, as you can see. So peppers, I mean, there's all kinds of vegetables, and I'm more than happy to go into detail there. Pardon me, to detail there in comments or something like that if you have more questions about tortoise care. But most of their diet should really be dark leafy greens. That's very, very good for them. Another thing you want to do for reptiles is when you feed them their regular diet, you want to put your supplements and vitamins on there. So vitamin powder mix every once a week, I would say. And then calcium powder with D3 every time you feed them. Okay? He is so cute. I don't even want to move the camera up to my face on Facebook. I'm sure you guys don't want to miss this. Let's see if we have any questions on Facebook. Here I am. Hi, guys. Let's see. What is a tortoise shell made out of? That is a great question from Lauren on Facebook. A tortoise shell is made out of keratin, just like your hair and fingernails. So just like your hair and fingernails, they have a shell, which is kind of like a great big fingernail. And that's made out of keratin. Pretty cool. And underneath that is a layer of bone, because this is indeed part of his body. He can feel me scratching him. And Frank here actually will come after me and ask for scratches. When I scratch him on his hind end back here, a lot of times he'll follow me around and be like, more scratches, please. I can't reach back there. It feels really good. So they definitely can feel. They have nerve endings under there. So keratin on the top, bone underneath, and his body, his shell is his body, I should say. So right here is his spine underneath, and his ribs are here on the shell. So it is part of his body. He cannot change his shell like you've seen in the cartoons. He can't take it off and change it like changing clothes, like a hermit crab does, right? He's not a hermit crab, he's a tortoise. So that grows with him. And those scutes will actually flake off and shed, just like other reptiles shed their skin too. And they will shed their skin here. See where they have like kind of softer skin, where my finger's wiggling right there? On Instagram, it's over here. And that will shed too in like little flakes, like a lizard. They do have to shed as they grow. But remember, tortoises don't shed as often because they don't grow as fast. I don't want to take Shelton away from his food, but I'm going to give Frank an opportunity to eat this pepper. Now that he's maybe we give him another colored pepper. What do you think? Yum. Come on, Frank. Frank is kind of funny because he likes like grass and stuff a little bit more than he likes treats. So that was a very good question, Lauren. So today's theme, by the way, I decided, oh, there he goes. He might be eating it. He might want to. Oh, let's move him back again. Maybe he'll see it. If I take this yellow rag away. They're so funny. Animals never do anything that we predict, do they? Come on, buddy. Eat your peppers. Let's encourage him to eat the peppers, everyone. Yum, yum. They're delicious. Eat the peppers. If not, we'll just let him rest. Anywho, so today's theme, by the way, I wanted to bring like a big animal and a little animal of kind of each animal category we talk about. So even though both of these animals are never going to stop growing until they pass away because they are reptiles, they do start off very little. They come from eggs. All tortoises come from eggs and all turtles come from eggs. And when they're little and hatching out of the egg, they're only like this big. They're very, very little, very tiny, like this big. And then they, of course, eventually grow up little by little. Very, very slow growing. Like everything they do, very slow. Let's see if we have any other questions about our beautiful tortoises. Let's see. What else? What else? What else? We already answered this. How old are they? We don't really know. We guesstimate the little one, Shelton John, he's around 15-ish. And we guesstimate that this guy here, Frank, is at least 20, 25, something like that, at least. And it all depends on the care that they get. If they get a whole lot of food and a whole lot of sunlight and ultraviolet light and the right temperatures and the right humidity, they're going to grow a little faster. And of course, and then if they don't get enough of all of those things, they might grow slower. So we really don't know because we don't know when they were hatched. Good question. Let me see. Well, they eat long grass. Yes, they do eat long grass. We have St. Augustine grass and weeds in our backyard, like most people. And they do sometimes eat the grass. And when it's warm enough outside, usually above 60, 65 degrees, 60 is usually what I cut it off at, because these guys are tropical, so they're not too super warm weather tortoises. These guys do live in tropical environments, so they live in South America, and it rains quite often, so they're not super, super hot tortoises like a desert tortoise. They can handle about 60 degrees, and maybe a little lower than that, and they do like a lot of rain and humidity as well. And, this out of the way, and they do hang out in the yard whenever possible. It's really, really important for tortoises and other like lizards and other reptiles to get lots and lots of ultraviolet light. So we like to give them as much outside time as possible. It's really important. So sometimes they do eat long grass. Good question, Daniel. Can they eat pine cones? I don't really think they eat pine cones, especially this species, because they're not from the US, although I'm sure there's other places that have pine cones. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if there's pine cones in South America. There might be. Somebody tell me, all you botanists out there and you tree experts. I honestly have no idea if they can eat pine cones. I really don't think there's a whole lot of nutrition in pine cones, but they do have a sharp beak. A tortoise has a beak and not teeth. That's one feature of all turtles and tortoises. They have a beak like a bird. So they have a very, very sharp and strong beak and strong bite to be able to eat hard food items like hard vegetables, but I don't believe they can eat pine cones. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Oh, here's a question. This is a really good question from Daniel again. Do baby turtles go straight to their adult diet, or do they eat certain things? Yes, so they will start eating pretty much the same exact thing as soon as they're hatched out. By the way, so most turtles and tortoises don't, oh, he is gonna eat. Are you gonna eat it? I'm so excited. I'm gonna give him another one. He'll eat it. Eat the pepper. So most turtles and tortoises, of course, mom will lay the eggs, and some turtles will bury their eggs. I think maybe all of them do. Tell me out there, all you turtle and tortoise people that know more than I do, because I'm always learning all the time. Some, if not all, I can't even see him. Technology. There he is. You can see him now. Yay. Let's scoot on down for you guys to see me. All turtles and tortoises, to my knowledge, will at least make a nest, if not bury their eggs. And then mom will leave and let the eggs hatch on their own. They don't really take care of their babies. And as soon as those babies hatch and come out from the ground or come out into the world, they're going to be looking for food as soon as they're hungry. Now, they may not have to eat right away because most animals that come from eggs, they're living off of the egg yolk inside the egg. So they're going to have enough of that. Yes. We're gonna have enough of that nutrients to not have to eat right away. And since they're reptiles, they don't eat like every day, but they're gonna just eat when they're hungry. But yeah, turtles and tortoises will start eating whatever that species of turtle and tortoise eats right away. They're not gonna eat something different just because they're a baby. There he goes. Fantastic. You guys check him out on Facebook. Oh no, you can't. Oh no. Well, trust me, he's eating over here. That's funny. Y'all see him on Instagram, though. But you guys got to see Shelton eating, so that's fine. That's so funny. The angles and things I have to do here in the studio is ridiculous. But yeah, so they're going to eat. So for this species, they would, as soon as they're hungry and that egg yolk is maybe depleted and they're ready to eat and they're hungry, they're going to be eating grass, vegetables, maybe fallen fruits that they find in nature in South America, etc. So one major difference between a turtle and a tortoise, right, is going to be their diet. So tortoises are herbivores and turtles are either omnivores or carnivores. Have you guys ever heard of an alligator snapping turtle? I'm sure you have. Alligator snapping turtles are carnivores. So those carnivores will be eating carn. Just kidding. They're eating meat, other animals. So alligator snapping turtles, when they're babies, they're pretty small, like tiny like that. Tiny like that. They're going to be eating smaller prey items like bugs, small fish, things like that, tadpoles, anything they can find in the water where they live. They live in water usually, almost all the time in their water. They're ambush predators. They're really amazing, amazing animals. And yeah, so it's just going to be smaller food items for smaller mouths. Does that make sense? But pretty much the same exact thing all of their life, depending on the species. Some turtles are carnivores, like we said. Some turtles are omnivores, but there are no herbivore tortoises, to my knowledge. That's a big difference because of the way they move and their nature. Most turtle species are actually very, very fast, and they can catch moving food items like animals to eat. And tortoises are too slow to catch moving animals most of the time. That is a great question. I don't know if I've ever had that question about turtles and tortoises. You know, some of these programs are bringing about some really, really amazing questions that I've never had before in my life. And it's pretty cool. Maybe you guys feel just more comfortable in your home. That I'm not going to like make fun of you for your question, which I would never do. What other questions do we have? On Instagram, it's really hard to read. I'll try to get back to those questions later. Maybe I'll private message you guys and we'll talk later. But I appreciate you guys watching on Instagram. And remember, we are Once in a Wild, and down below is our information. onceinawild.com is where you can find all of our links to our social media and all of our contact information. Franklin is coming out of frame. There you go. He's moving his food over. Maybe you guys can see him now. I think Shelton's going to come after the food too. Let's put him this way. Everybody can see. Yum, yum. So cute. Maybe they'll share some food. Here he comes. Yum. Oh, yes. Shelton is so hungry. He's ready to eat. These guys are kind of always acting like they're hungry usually. All right. Franklin's leaving. Frank. Shelton goes, yum, yum. Thank you very much. Now, these red-footed tortoises in the wild are actually doing pretty well. Luckily, they're not an endangered species, but there are many other turtles and tortoises which are actually very endangered. You guys are familiar with sea turtles, right? Those guys aren't doing the best, depending on the species we're talking about. And a lot of that is due to, of course, man-made reasons like trash and pollution in the water. Even chemicals and poisons in the water are a big issue for turtles and tortoises because we all drink water, so we need some good water quality to keep us nice and healthy. But turtles, especially that live in the water, they have to deal with pollution. Do you guys know what a big issue is for sea turtles in general? It's going to be plastic pollution. Plastic pollution is a 100% man-made problem. Plastic was never here before humans, of course, and it hasn't even been here very long, but there's a huge, huge problem of plastic in the ocean and all over the world, really, on land and water. And there's so much plastic in the ocean that animals eat it, and you know, it's not great. They get stuck in man-made items like fishing nets and things like that. So one really great way we can help all animals, really, all over their nature and all over the place and all over the world, even your own backyard, and even right here from your comfort of your own home, is to actually help animals by making really awesome choices. Choices like using less plastic, recycling materials whenever we can, saying no to one-use straws. Straws are a big problem because they're not really recyclable. All the plastics that you use, you should be using recyclable plastics that you can recycle afterwards you use them, after you use them. And yeah, and reducing the amount of one-use plastic that we use. Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's a really great way you can help all wildlife, right? Really, really easy. It's just about making choices and making new habits for yourself. He may look like he wants the pepper, but he keeps walking right over the pepper. Do you want it now? You gonna settle right down? He just wants to go run around. You've had a lot of time to run around today. What is happening? He's gonna go see you guys over here on Instagram. That's one great way we can help out animals all over the place. Some tortoises which are similar to these guys that are not doing as well. So for example, these guys are from South America. They are a very widespread kind of jungly type tortoise. They are the red-footed tortoise, by the way, if you missed that. We were meeting Shelton here and Frank. And these guys are doing well in the wild overall, but there is a similar tortoise that lives over in Madagascar, a very different place than South America. It's an island off the coast of Africa. And in Madagascar, a lot of animals aren't doing very well, but there's a tortoise called the radiated tortoise, which is a distant relative to these guys. It's another type of tortoise, which to me looks very similar. Those guys are really beautiful too. Those guys are being poached for their shells. So poached means taken out of the wild illegally, hunted illegally. They use their shells for making trinkets and belt buckles and all kinds of things that don't look as great on humans as they do on the tortoise, in my opinion. So we never ever want to buy all of those things once we're traveling again and we can support economy of other countries and things like that and go traveling and participate in ecotourism, etc. We don't want to be buying things made out of tortoise shell. That's a really bad idea, in my opinion. And we don't want to be encouraging that poaching trade, right? Another reason that these guys, that the radiated tortoise, not this species, but another species called the radiated tortoise isn't doing well, is because of collection illegally for the pet trade. If you do want a pet tortoise, it's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but we want to make sure they're coming from a reputable place. They are not taken from the wild and taken from wild populations that need them to keep the species going, right? And what else? What else is affecting them? All kinds of things affect them. Habitat loss in Madagascar, where the radiated tortoise is from. Madagascar is an island, so there's already a lot of pressure for them to, they don't have a ton of space as is. So the less habitat, the less tortoises. Those are 3 issues affecting them, all man-made issues, unfortunately. Now Franklin is just ready to roll. He's like, I'm out of here, you guys. I'm going to come back up to Facebook and see if you guys have any questions on Facebook. Oh, that's a good idea. We get another tortoise. We should name it Blake Shelton. That's super cute. We have Shelton John, Frank Sinatra, and maybe a Blake Shelton in the future. Who knows? Haha. Good question. Or good comment, I should say. Let's see if we have anything going on Instagram before we stop talking about tortoises. It is fun to learn all about animals, isn't it? There's always something to learn. And here at Once in a While, we have over 70 animal ambassadors. So you never know who you might see here at Once in a While on our live streams, whether they be on Facebook or Instagram. We are doing our Facebook live streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. And you never know who you're going to meet here at Once in a While. Next week, on Monday, we're actually planning on doing something a little bit different. And I'll tell you guys about that at the end if I remember. And I bet you guys are really going to enjoy that. Let's scoot Shelton over so you guys can see him on Instagram a little bit better. He is an eating machine, isn't he? He's like, man, I'm growing. I need to eat my weight in peppers today. But yeah, it's really fun to learn about animals. Even if we repeat the animals that we show, there's always something else to say about them. And I love y'all's questions, because that helps me to think of other things to learn and other things to teach everyone. Pretty amazing. Do you guys see that neck movement that he's doing like this? So sometimes tortoises use body language with one another, and that might just mean like, what's going on over here? But also, you'll notice his throat kind of moving up and down like a frog. Can you guys see that on Facebook? So sometimes their throat will puff in and out. There you see a little bit on Instagram, right? The throat puffing up in and out. Shelton does it all the time. He's gonna eat his pepper, I'm sure. Yum! Mouth is full. Look at that beautiful tongue. I'm gonna drop the pepper. Oh! But that throat will kind of puff in and out like this. That shows you that a tortoise is smelling. That is how a tortoise draws in air to take a big sniff, and that's how they're going to smell what's going on around them. They're always kind of smelling. They have a great sense of smell. They don't have a great sense of hearing, but they can hear a little bit. They do have some ears, but not the best sense of hearing. They have good sense of touch. And as far as we know, good sense of taste, since they have a good sense of smell. And decent vision too. Okay? But again, these guys are not predators, so they don't really need to be running after their prey or anything like that. So they don't need a ton of extra sensitive senses. They're kind of simple animals. They, are very sweet. They kind of just like wander around looking for grass and things to eat. Very, very sweet animals. We have any other questions? lets me see on Instagram. I'm not meaning to dip out on you guys on purpose. Let me see. Well, I don't think I have any other questions that I could see, and if there were, I apologize. Shelton's going to finish his peppers over here in his temporary enclosure. Look at all those beautiful peppers. Take another bite for everybody. Nom, nom. Delicious. It's like, put me down, Mom, so I can relax. You guys want to say goodbye to Shelton? He's so cute. All right. We're going to move on quickly to our next animal. I'll let him finish his snack in his little temporary enclosure right here. These guys are hanging out all around me today. And here's Frank again. Frank, you're adorable and everyone loves you, as they should, right? Tortoises are amazing. I don't know anybody that doesn't like a tortoise. So cute. Tortoises are very peaceful and sweet animals, aren't they? Okay, say goodbye to everybody on Instagram. You've been amazing. We're going to let him rest down below as well. And I'm back. Okay, guys, adjust this really fast for Instagram. You guys are awesome and very patient. Okay, should I scoot over this way? Yeah. Okay, so next we're going to talk about a very different animal type, and that's going to be a couple of them, because remember, I brought something small and something large of each category. That's what we're talking about. So, but I'm going to have these guys come out one at a time because they aren't really animals that hang out together in nature and wouldn't really get along. So I'm going to scoot back here and get my positioning correct. How much time do I have? Okay. Instagram, we're going to say goodbye probably at 4:30 because it only lets me have 1 hour, which is not okay for me because I talk forever. All right. Our next animal is Xena. You guys might have met Xena before on one of our programs. You guys over here on Instagram, can you see her? What kind of animal is that? I'll sit back like this so you guys can see her. This is Xena. She is a scorpion, right? She's an African flat rock scorpion. And these guys, the African flat rock scorpion lives under flat rocks in Africa. What do you know? Pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. These guys are one of the largest species of scorpion in the entire world. And they are the second heaviest scorpion species in the entire world. They are very, very big, but they're not very heavy. As you can see, it's very easy for me to pick her up. But as a scorpion, they are very large and very heavy. Now, a lot of people ask me, why in the world is she not stinging me or hurting me? I just surprised her there on accident there. She's not going to sting me or hurt me because these guys aren't really an aggressive type of arachnid or, scorpion. These guys are pretty passive. I'm trying to show everybody at the same time. It's a challenge, you guys. 2 platforms at once is kind of hard. But these guys are pretty passive. Also, their venom is very insignificant to humans or almost any animal. To their prey, it might be more significant. All scorpion species are venomous, but that doesn't mean their venom is dangerous to humans. So there are about 1,600 species of scorpions that we know of in the world. There might be more that we haven't discovered yet, of course. As always, we're always learning about animals, which is one of my favorite reasons to study animals. Actually, I can get rid of this. Goodbye. We don't have any more tortoises. I don't need, tortoises are messy. So sometimes I take a little extra precaution there. So out of around 1,600 species of scorpions that we know of in the world, only about 2% of those are actually significantly venomous to humans. Now, I don't recommend that you guys pick up wild scorpions because not only will they sting you, some scorpions in the US and some all over the world are significantly venomous to humans. We don't want to recommend that you guys play with any wildlife at all. They're not going to be happy about that. They're not going to be as tame as the African flat rock scorpion, and most likely you will get stung. So we don't recommend that at all. We want to make sure that you guys are being careful and not getting hurt, and that you're not hurting wildlife. But scorpions are very cool animals. They are arachnids. All arachnids have 8 legs and 2 arm-like appendages that are called pedipalps. Now, of course, on the scorpion, the pedipalps or arm-like appendages are the claws. Those great big pedipalps have great big claws, especially for a species like this. In fact, the larger the claws on the scorpion, the less venomous they are because they don't need any venom. They don't really use their venom to kill their prey. They use their claws to defend themselves and to kill their prey. Pretty amazing. So the larger the claws, the less venomous they are. That gives you a little bit of a kind of a rule of thumb when you're learning about scorpions. This might be a good position for both platforms. Cool. What else? These guys, as an arachnid, they have 8 legs and 2 arm-like appendages called pedipalps. In this case, they are claws. And they have 2 body parts. So all arachnids, including spiders and scorpions, have 2 body parts. One is the cephalothorax, which is their head and kind of midsection combined into one instead of 3 like an insect, right? Instead of 1 and 2 and 3. They have a cephalothorax, which is head and mid. And then the rest of their body is called the abdomen. The abdomen and cephalothorax are their main 2 body parts. So here's her cephalothorax. She's looking at you guys with her eyes on top of her head there. Scorpions actually have 2 eyes or more on top of their head. Eyes at least. Something to look up for this species. I am not an entomologist, so I'm always learning. But at least 6 eyes on this species. Pretty cool. Those eyes are very, very, very poorly designed to see anything. They're mostly for shadows and movement. Shadows and movement. So not great vision, mostly for seeing movement. So on a scorpion, of course, they have a tail. That tail is called the metasoma. Not really a tail. There it is in front of my eye for you guys on Facebook. And there it is for you guys on Instagram. The metasoma or tail, on the end of that tail is going to be her stinger, of course. Can you guys see the stinger curled up under there? And you guys can see the stinger. Pretty cool. It's kind of like tucked up in there. So that's all of her body parts. I think we've covered them all. 8 legs, 2 pedipalps, which are her claws. The metasoma, which is the tail. Oh, I can't talk. And the stinger, right? And the cephalothorax and abdomen. Those are all your body parts of arachnids and scorpions. Cool, huh? Don't have any questions about the scorpion? Maybe it's on a lag. What about over here? Oh, and you're welcome for me answering your question earlier, by the way, on Instagram. No big deal at all. You guys still see her? Just hanging out with me. You guys are saying, wow, scorpion. Yeah, she is amazing. I love them. I think they are so fascinating. And as scary as she may look to some people, she's not harming me at all, right? So most animals out there in nature, they don't want anything to do with humans. They don't want to hurt you or harm you. So we should always let them live, right? Now, within reason, of course, to save yourself or something like that from a scorpion sting. I'm not talking about that situation, but most of the time you leave animals alone in their own habitat, they're going to leave you alone, right? So that's a good rule of thumb. And that goes for snakes, scorpions, the tortoises, unless you're helping them across the road or something like that, all wildlife. And Xena is just one scorpion that we actually brought today. Again, this is an African flat rock scorpion. These guys are from South Africa, actually. They're from a very, very hot region of Africa in the desert of South Africa. So they are nocturnal and they are predators, right? Move her to a different hand for my comfort. Oh, you gonna scoot over? Oh, she's in a weird position now. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, that's much better for the program. She's like, coming right at you. Ta-da! So these guys are from South Africa, and during the daytime, when it's very, very, very hot in the desert of South Africa, they will be hiding under rocks, hence the name flat rock scorpion. They're very flat, and they hide under rocks. And that's where they're going to stay safe during the day from predators, that's potentially, and that's where they're going to stay cool out of the heat of the day. And at night, they're going to come out. I believe almost every scorpion species, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, you entomologists out there, I believe almost every species of scorpion, if not every species of scorpion, is a nocturnal species. So they're going to come out at night. That's what nocturnal means. And they are going to hunt in the night for things like insects and spiders. And for this species, since they are so large, they can eat things like small lizards. Other scorpions might be on the menu as well. Even a tiny, tiny mammal, maybe too, maybe like a very small rodent. They might eat those too in times that are tough. Now, in normal circumstance, they are going to just mainly eat insects. Insects are going to be their main diet. So here at Once in a While, she eats about every other week, which is more than plenty for a scorpion like this. A scorpion like this can actually go up to a year without eating, which is incredible and not ideal for them, but it is a great survival tactic when times are tough. Pretty cool. So we offer her food about every other week. She eats a lot. She's a very, very good eating scorpion. And she gets anything from crickets, dubia roaches, superworms, things like that. So all insect diet. So we're going to actually say see you later to Xena before I run out of time on Instagram. And we're going to meet another scorpion really fast. I have 2 today. And remember, we wanted to show you kind of one larger animal and one smaller animal of each animal that we brought today. So I brought you guys a smaller scorpion. And I might go ahead and start another live stream on Instagram, which cuts me off in 10 minutes, actually. So this is an emperor scorpion too, or, you know, in addition, it's not the same species as the last one. And he's much smaller just because he's a baby. So we think this is the male, but we don't know yet because he's still very young. You guys see him? See how much smaller he is than the first scorpion? So this type of scorpion actually gets heavier than the last scorpion. You guys on Instagram see him? So these guys get heavier as a species once they grow up. And by heavier, it's not like a ton heavier. It's just like a heavier bodied animal. So these guys are actually considered the largest species of scorpion in the world. But they are not as long as the other species that we showed, the African flat rock scorpion. So the emperor scorpion, when he grows up, he's going to be significantly heavier bodied and just as big as the last scorpion we showed, the African flat rock scorpion. Guys. I need a drink sometimes. You feel me, right? Okay. My goodness, excuse me. I promise I'm fine. These guys, what was I saying? They are also an African species. They are from West Africa, actually. I inhaled down the wrong pipe, actually. Oh, goodness gracious, how embarrassing. So these guys are from West Africa. The emperor scorpion is. Look how much more active he is than the last species as well. Ugh. Glad I have my water with me. Need a cough drop. Pretty cool, huh? And they are black as opposed to dark brown like the last species is. Any questions about the emperor scorpion? So these guys are very, very similar in their activity, in their behavior to the other scorpion that we talked about. They're also a very insignificant venom when it comes to being dangerous to humans. They're very, very benign when it comes to their venom. So a lot of people ask me, oh my gosh, what if he stings you? What's going to happen? I say, it's okay. It would be like almost nothing, less than an ant bite, and not even last as long as an ant bite. So I would be totally fine. I've been stung before. It doesn't even hardly feel like anything. It's much less significant than like a bee sting or even an ant bite, like I said. He's just crawling all over the place. He's being really active today. That's pretty cool. So that's one big difference between in behavior, kind of, sort of, for these guys, between the African flat rock scorpion and the emperor scorpion is how much they move. So I actually kind of like the African flat rock scorpion for handling because they're so, you know, kind of slow moving, don't really move very much. The emperors are always kind of moving around. You see the stinger there? As a young scorpion, his stinger is actually kind of white. Now, speaking of white, these guys are actually, when they're born, because they're not hatched out of eggs, scorpions come from a live birth. Mom can have several of them. In fact, Xena, the last scorpion, is a mother of 39 babies. And they're very good mothers, by the way. When they're born, they put them on their back for safety. And they actually feed their babies and take care of them until their exoskeleton grows and hardens, I should say. But when they're born, they're white and very soft. And then they harden over the course of about a week or so. And then they are black or dark brown, depending on the species, right? Pretty amazing. You guys don't have any questions on Facebook? Have I lost you guys? I can't believe that. There's no way I lost y'all on Facebook. That's okay. I haven't lost you guys on Instagram yet. I got about 5 more minutes on Instagram, though. Oh my goodness. He is so cute, I think. And he is about 2 years old, by the way. I forgot to tell you how old he is. Sting. We think he's a boy. We're not 100% sure yet because it's really hard to tell on a smaller scorpion what the gender is. And there's other ways to tell once they grow up, depending on the species and whatnot. Look at them go. They're crawling all over the place. And the smaller they are, the easier it is for them to kind of stick up against the side of my hand or the side of a wall or a rock or something like that. He's crawling all over the place. Look at him go. Woo! Go, go, go. And actually, speaking of him growing, I actually have one of his molts. I forgot to show you guys. I didn't forget. So this is actually one of his molts that he molted last year. See the skin? That is his exoskeleton. Kind of like a snake sheds. All of your arachnids are invertebrates, right? So they don't have any bones. They have an exoskeleton. So when they grow, that was just the exoskeleton, not the animal, guys, that I dropped. So that's the shell that comes off as they grow. And it's literally like another one of him, just clear. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And that was from last year, and it still looks really cool. Thought I'd show that to you guys. He is leaving us. There we go. Woo! On my hand again. Ooh, we have some comments here. And I am actually going to say goodbye on Instagram, and we'll start over with our next animal once we bring the next animal out. How's that, Instagram? What if we just have 2 encounters? Because it cuts me off after an hour, which I think is silly. Here we go, crawling down my arm. And arachnids, of course, are spiders and scorpions. And invertebrates include all kinds of animals. Right? Invertebrates are like, of course, spiders and scorpions, insects. Y'all can maybe add in or, chime in with some more invertebrate examples. There's all kinds of them out there in nature. Invertebrate means they don't have a backbone. They don't have any bones at all. They have an exoskeleton instead. So remember, as they grow, they have to shed their exoskeleton. And it's kind of neat because they get to start all over with a beautiful exoskeleton and look like a brand new animal. Now, the bigger that he gets, the harder it's going to be for him to kind of crawl around on my arm and stuff like that. So I'm kind of enjoying these times where he's still a baby and able to crawl over me. It's kind of cool because it won't last for very long. These guys are very slow growing as well. Emperor scorpions and African flatwalk scorpions too, they actually live a long, long time into their 30s or 40s, and they grow very slow. So they only shed, or molt, I should say, they only molt that exoskeleton a few times in their life. So as Sting grows, he's going to molt a few times as a baby, and then it's going to slow down quite a bit, and then it'll only be like 5 more times in his lifetime once he's a mature size. Cool, huh? What else can we learn about scorpions? Scorpions have hair, like spiders do. And those hairs, you might be able to see them, maybe, in the light. Those hairs can help him to feel, of course. Their sense of touch is very, very sensitive. Now on Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. I'm not going anywhere on Facebook yet. But Instagram, I'll start over with our next animal once we bring the next animal out. You guys have been an amazing audience so far. And we'll see you on the next one that I start here in a minute. Bye. Okay. All right. I'm still here on Facebook. Don't worry. This is quite a challenge running all of this show by myself. I need an assistant. I wish I could have an assistant right now. It's all good. I don't mind doing it for you guys at all. Once again, this is Amanda with Once in a While. This is Sting, the scorpion. He is named after the singer. I think that's a great name for a scorpion. We believe he's male, but we don't really know yet for sure. There are certain ways to tell male from female on scorpions. And he is only about 2 years old, so he's still a very, very small baby. When scorpions are born, they are very tiny. Mom can have multiple babies, and they give live birth. Those babies are born white or very, very light colored, almost like a pale color. And they harden to this black coloration afterwards in about a week or 2, I believe, for the species. And mom will actually, once she has her baby, she'll put them on her back all together. Imagine there's like 60 of them or something. My scorpion had 39 babies. There was a lot of them. So imagine there's like 50 or 60 babies on a scorpion's back, and they kind of like pile them all together to keep them safe until their exoskeleton has hardened. And they even feed them, take care of them, give them water, all the things, protect them from predators and the elements. And then once they're ready to go on their own, they're teeny tiny scorpions, about less than half this size when they're ready to go on their own, and they start eating prey on their own and hunting on their own. Pretty amazing. Here's some examples of other invertebrates from Lauren: snails, octopus, mussels, crabs, and shrimp. Very, very, very good. So does he still have his stinger? Yes, they do have a stinger. See the stinger? It's kind of like white with a darker brown tip. Can you see it? Let me see. Ooh, look at that. There is a stinger on there, but this type of scorpion is very, very mild venom and very insignificant to humans, and they're not known to sting. They are more known to pinch if they feel threatened. They do have very large claws. He is a very small scorpion, but they do have very large claws for a species. You see them? And that is their main defense. If they are grabbed by a predator, like a meerkat, for example, this is an African species. So a meerkat or a bird, or really any insect or arachnid eating predator may eat this guy in the wild. So those little claws are going to be his way of defense. Now, as a small scorpion, those little claws really don't do much. So he's going to need to hide a lot. They are a nocturnal animal. They do sleep during the daytime and come out at night. And to stay safe, they're going to hide underneath a lot of things like fallen leaves, a log, a rock, whatever he can actually find to hide underneath. That's going to be his main way of staying safe, because those claws really aren't enough when you're a tiny scorpion like this. Yeah, so Lauren is asking, how does scorpion mom feed all those babies while on her back? So usually she will continue to hunt, or she will have like a bug that's maybe crushed up. So when a scorpion goes and hunts, they use their claws, and then they kind of like eat them with their little chelicerae, which are their mouth parts, and they kind of use their spit to kind of break down the food. Kind of gross, but that's the way it is. And they'll break down that food and kind of make it into a mushy food for their babies, and they'll kind of like hold it and put it on their back. So the babies are up here on their back, and they're eating like this. This is my impression of a scorpion. Mush it up and put some on their back, and mush it up, put some on. Isn't that sweet? So mom will actually feed them like that. So it's not like a milk or anything like that, like a mammal does. Sorry if that was confusing, but she actually just kind of hands them some of the mushed up bugs that she's eating, or whatever animal she's eating. So cool. I think it's really, really neat to learn about animals that you may not think of as good parents, that they really are. Pretty cool. Y'all have some good questions about the scorpion. I think they are just beautiful animal. You know, the scorpions are very, very unchanged for millions of years. They are very, very, very ancient animals. They're one of the first animals, in theory, to have crawled out of the ocean. We have some evidence that scorpions lived under the water in the ocean a long, long time ago, and they're still similar animals, of course, to them in the ocean. And they are very, very old. There are at least 1,600 species of scorpion. And scorpions live in every continent except for one, and that is Antarctica, because it's far too cold for scorpions to live in Antarctica. Thank you. Lauren says I do great impressions. Yes, that's my impression of a scorpion eating. I even get the noises. That's going to be the pause screen that Facebook picks for sure. There you go, Facebook. I dare you to pick that screen. They do. I keep forgetting to bring a black light to show you guys. I don't even know if I have a black light. You know, I'm not conducting a rave over here at home. I don't really need a black light, right? But we might be able to find one or order one online so I can finally show you what I've been trying to show you. Yeah, so these guys have some kind of properties in their body that make them glow like a greenish blue under a black light. Almost like when you go to a party and you're going to the party, right? And there's a black light, and all your white clothes and my white skin will just like glow. These guys glow on their own, just like because of properties in their body. Nobody really knows why. To my knowledge, I don't know if we've. I know. Thanks for laughing. I just get weirder and weirder every program. This is real life. It's quarantine day. I don't even know what, 30. I don't know. Long time. So it is what it is. You guys are right there with me, aren't you? I know you are. I know it. But anyway, so these guys just glow like that. I don't think that there's been a scientific study to figure out why. It's just really cool. That is one way you can find scorpions. If you guys have maybe scorpions in your house, or you're just looking for them in your own backyard, that's one way to kind of find scorpions, is by taking a black light and looking for scorpions, and they will glow. It is really neat. I wish I could show you right now, and I totally forgot to get a black light. Next time. No promises. Ha ha ha. Are they edible? Yeah. For sure. These guys are venomous, but not poisonous. To my knowledge, there's no poisonous scorpion. The biggest difference between poison and venom is going to be a poison you have to eat, touch, or lick to be able to affect you, and a venom has to be injected into you. So scorpions are eaten by animals all over the world, including by humans. Some places like, I don't know, all kinds of countries do eat scorpions. They are edible. I am not going to eat the scorpion. No, I am not. But this, they can be eaten. I hear that they're not too bad. I've never had one that I remember. Good question. Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and say see you later to Sting. He was just beautiful. I can't wait for him to grow up. Remember, here's the molt, in case you didn't get to see that yet. I brought his molt. Here it is. Looks like the tail has come off. Oh, no, it's very fragile. See the molt on top of my hand there next to the real animal? Oh, it just fell. Never mind. We'll hold it. There's his molt from the last time he molted, like last year, which he should hopefully molt again soon. This is a challenge, you guys. And then there's the animal. Isn't that amazing? There's the molt there. Maybe you can see it a little better if I do this. Cool. It's almost like a cicada molt, right? You guys seen the cicadas outside on the trees? Those things used to scare me all the time. They're just the molts, so like the skin's hanging onto the trees, and then the animal comes out. Same thing with any animal with an exoskeleton, like an invertebrate. They have to do that. Pretty cool. All right, Sting, you've been amazing. You're shiny, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're misunderstood, but we love you. We do, and you've been fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and let him rest. He did a great program, and if you guys have any questions about him, let me know. Okay, Sting, you can rest in your temporary enclosure. All right, so we've gone over tortoises, we've gone over scorpions. What could be next? Well, remember I brought a big and a little of each one of these animals. And before I begin with the next animal, we're going to go ahead and get back on Instagram so everybody over there on the gram can see us too. How about that? I think that's fair. Sorry again for my coughing attack earlier. I promise I'm totally fine. I just, sometimes things go down the wrong pipe and you just choke, as you know. All right, let's get back over here on Instagram. Bear with me, Facebook. You guys are being so patient and so nice. How do I do this? This is all new for me. Hey, I'm back on over here. Okay, let's make sure this is a good angle for everyone. Live is what I want. Okay, we're going to say hello again on Instagram. Hi, guys. It's me, Amanda, with Once in a Wild once again. This is part of our program for the 3:30 program over on Facebook Live, which we have every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. We're just continuing our program because, of course, Instagram cuts you off after an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys more information about another kind of animal right now. So let's go ahead and get started because everybody on Facebook's been really patient. Okay, so we talked about tortoises first. We talked about scorpions, which was really cool. And then we have another animal category, which I brought a big and a little of. You guys want to see the big one or the little one first? Y'all let me know before I bring the animal out. Quickly, while I get another drink. Big animal or little animal? Now, it's not an elephant because I can't bring an elephant to the studio. That would be very irresponsible and would not fit in the studio. Someone's saying little one, so I'm going to go with little animal first. Little one. Angelo. Hi, Angelo. Nice to see you. Sorry, Instagram is very tiny on the text. If you guys want to join us over on Facebook, I can answer questions a lot easier. Both. Well, I mean, obviously, we're going to see both, but not at the same time. We're going to be safe. So first animal we'll see is a little one. Let's see if you guys know what it is. Let me see. We can calmly get her out. Ooh, what is that? What kind of animal is that? There can be several answers. For little ones, I have to go back and forth between social media platforms. Focus. Maybe not. We'll put it right over my eye. What is this? It is so cute. Any guesses? At least what category of animal we have. We talked about tortoises. We talked about, oh goodness. We talked about tortoises. We talked about Scorpions. That was the second one we talked about. What else? What else? Anybody have a guess? It's so little. I told you it was going to be a little animal. Tree gecko. Over on Facebook, Cedric is guessing tree gecko. Good guess. Absolutely, we have a lizard. That is for sure. So it is lizard time. And guess what? Oh, she's jumping right towards the camera on Facebook. That was kind of cool. Maybe she'll do it again. That would be neat. This is a leaping lizard. It's up in here. Woo! Good job. So this here, her name is Juju. And Juju is a crested gecko. You guys have seen crested geckos before, right? What's better than one crested gecko? Leaping lizards again. Come back. What's better than one crested gecko? She is jumping all over the place. Am I still there? She turned off my broadcast. How dare? What's better than one crested gecko is two crested geckos. Leaping lizards, indeed. I'm back, guys. That's just real life. So Juju's being awfully crazy. Remember, this kind of encounter is kind of new for some of our animals. So even though two lizards is better than one, we're going to let Juju rest because Rue here is a much more reliable crested gecko. I use her for all kinds of programs. This is Rue, the crested gecko we call Juju, which we might bring back. That was hilarious, you guys. She decided to turn off the broadcast. Oh, so funny. Everybody on Instagram is probably laughing their butts off at me. Hi. And you guys too. You can laugh at me. It's fine. That's my job. You're welcome. So yeah, we're talking about lizards. We got a crested gecko. Crested gecko. She might jump too. Oh, she wants to jump. Maybe. She's a lot more mellow. All of our animals have different personalities, even if they are the same species. Sometimes, just like dogs and cats, they might have different personalities, right? It happens. So Rue here is a crested gecko, and Juju was a crested gecko, the one that turned off our broadcast on Facebook. My goodness. But they're both the same species, have different personalities. Rue is a lot more calm, so she's great for programs. Juju's just her own thing, and that's fine. I thought I would try it, but my goodness, she said no thank you. Yeah, so this is a crested gecko. Another name is the New Caledonian crested gecko. This is the wild coloration that they are in nature. Look at her crawling. That's cool. Look at her go. This coloration is their wild type coloration. They do come in all different kinds of patterns and colors in the care of humans. And that is because they are selectively bred for different colorations and markings, which is pretty fun. These guys are very, very common in the pet trade. You might have seen them before. As you can see, she is climbing around, and you definitely saw the other crested gecko jumping around. These guys are very nimble climbers and nimble jumpers. And they are arboreal, which means they climb trees. Arboreal means tree dwelling or tree living animal. And just like the word arbol in Spanish, right? Arbol. That means arboreal, or arboreal means tree dwelling. These guys are very arboreal, very climby. Geckos, most geckos have the ability to climb up things with the pads of their feet. They're very, very sticky. Can y'all see her climbing my hand and hanging onto my fingers? It's so cute. But they have very sticky foot pads with very special abilities to climb right up walls and trees with ease, of course, and leaves and all kinds of plants in the wild. New Caledonia is where they're from. That's why they're called the New Caledonian crested gecko. New Caledonia is a system of islands right off the coast of Australia. So they are an Australian type animal, or Australasia is what I should say. That is the continent they are from. These specific type of geckos were actually discovered, I believe, in the 1980s, to my knowledge. It might have been before that, but officially in the 1980s, officially. And then we thought that I want to get this right. We thought that they went extinct, and then they were rediscovered as well. Now, I might be wrong about those numbers and what year, but something to look up. But they're a fairly newly discovered species, and now they're super common in the care of humans, which is kind of interesting how fast that they have become very, very popular. The reason they're so popular as pets is because usually they're very docile and very soft and cute. They don't get very big as a lizard. As you can see, this is a fully grown, adult-sized lizard. Now, I say fully grown, but that doesn't mean she's not going to keep growing her entire life. These guys never stop growing their entire life, being a lizard. That's all lizards. But they are very small. So you can see this is as big as she's going to get, more or less, maybe a teeny bit bigger than this. Super cute. So very popular to keep in the trade. They also are very easy to keep as far as temperatures go. These guys live in a very mild climate, so not very hot and not very cold. So usually room temperature or a little hotter is perfect for them. And they're very, very hardy species to keep. They're very cute. You see the throat moving in, up and down. Here, I'm show Facebook first. See the throat? She's gonna jump again. I say again. Guys, we lost our gecko. I'm gonna get her. Oh, there she is. Hey, animals do things sometimes, you guys. They're live animals. That's the appeal of these shows, right? I'm back. Haha. She decided to jump out of frame. I had to go get her. Oh, goodness. See the throat moving up and down? That's what I was talking about. That's her kind of smelling, just like the tortoise was smelling earlier. See that? So cute. Sometimes our bloopers are the best part of the show, in my opinion, so you're welcome. Again. She's kind of smelling. They have a pretty good sense of smell. This gecko, similar to other types of geckos, don't have any eyelids. See her beautiful eyes? She never blinks. So in order to keep her eyes moisturized, she has to lick her eyes. She has a very, very long tongue, which comes up like that. Way longer than my tongue. And they can lick their eyeball. Oh, I think she did it. She's going to do it again. She's licking something. Oh, she just did it. Do it again. They lick their eyeballs to keep them moisturized. We have to blink to keep our eyes moisturized, right? Hopefully she'll do it again for you guys. That was really cool and right on cue. And that is a feature of most gecko species. Most gecko species don't have traditional eyelids. Oh, she's going to jump again. I better not let her do that. We've had enough of that. But notice we don't force our animals to do anything. When they've had enough, we let them rest. And if she's ready to jump away, she'll jump away. Not forcing her to stay still. She's going to do her thing like a gecko does. Squirrel. So these guys do have to lick their eyes to stay moisturized. Oh, it's like, oh, she's gonna, oh, there we go again. Guys, that was a jump fail, but she tried. See the tail? So these guys do have a prehensile tail, which comes in really handy to have as another limb. Look at that. Comes in really handy to have as another limb for balance and things. Guys, these geckos jump all over the place and fall over the place. I said you were a nimble climber and jumper. Can you please be nimble? You're so silly. Don't worry, I have a very soft surface down below, as you guys saw with the tortoises. You guys can see she's fine. And she jumped out into oblivion a second ago. These guys are tough. Sometimes they'll jump right out of trees into the ground. Pretty amazing. Oh, animals. That's why I love them. They're so much fun. But yeah, so having that extra tail or extra limb, if you will, that tail, see how she uses it to kind of grip around my finger? See that? It's going to help her gain her balance, usually, in the trees, in nature, or on my finger. Oh, look how cute. Guys. Adorable. Tiny little lizard on my finger. Back up a little bit. And unfortunately, though, these guys, if they lose their tail, because they do that to stay safe from predators sometimes. So if a predator's coming by and eats the tail or bites the tail, they can lose their tail and the animal can get away. That tail will actually keep wiggle worming around to entice that animal to eat the tail. And then the rest of the animal can get away, the most important part of the animal, right? Not the tail. But unfortunately, this species, the crested gecko, does not regenerate their tail. So that is very unfortunate, right? These guys don't get a second chance to use that defense. They only get to do that one time. And then the next time, oh well, if they get grabbed in the tail region, they won't have a tail to grab. They don't regenerate. Isn't that interesting? So no, Amanda, I just answered that right as I got your question. I get them on kind of a lag. But no, these guys do not regenerate the tail, unlike a lot of lizards who do lose the tail to defend themselves. Angela's asking a question over on Instagram. What do they eat? So this type of gecko, they eat insects as well as fruit, and they also eat nectar. So out there in nature, they're going to look for nectar of plants and fruits as well sometimes. They can have some sugary treats like that out in nature. That's going to be part of their diet. And they also will seek out insects. So insects and worms and things like that. And now here at Once in a While, they get a formulated diet, which is specially made for crested geckos and other nectar-eating geckos. It gives them a lot of nutrients and vitamins and things that they need. And they also get crickets and mealworms and waxworms and dubia roaches and all kinds of things to eat. That is what they eat. So they're a little bit of an omnivore, right? So omnivores eat both meat and plants. They're eating animals and plants, including nectar, fruits, insects, things like that. Good question. Leaping lizards today. We're learning about lizards right now. There are many, many species of lizards. Gecko is just a type of lizard, as you may know. There are other types of lizards, including iguanas as a type of lizard, right? Bearded dragons are another type of lizard. What are some other type of lizards that you guys know? What other type of lizards can y'all name? There are many, many types. And when we talk about reptiles, there are 4 different categories of reptiles. And those are lizards like this, snakes, tortoises, and crocodilians. The only type of reptile I do not have an example of in my collection are crocodilians. Maybe someday we will have a crocodile or an alligator to talk about. But right now I don't have the room in our facility because those animals, of course, need a lot of room and a big water feature to live in because crocodilians are primarily aquatic. Lizards live all over the place. You might even see geckos in your own backyard or in your own home. Here in Texas, anyway, we have an invasive species called the Mediterranean house gecko. Those are from the Mediterranean, as their name states. They are an invasive species, but they are not a harmful invasive species to my knowledge. They don't really cause any problems. In fact, they are kind of friends of us. If you have a house gecko in your own house or wherever, they eat a lot of insects, which might be harmful to humans. So having a house gecko in your house is really, really good for controlling mosquitoes, flies, roaches, things like that. A lot of geckos eat a lot of insects like that. Let's see if she'll lick her eye for you guys on Instagram. Every time I bring her towards the camera, she's like, I want to jump. We don't want that to happen again. Adorable. You see her ear hole on the side of her ear, on the side of her head? Her ear hole on the side of her ear. Her ear hole on the side of her head. You see that? This is a type of lizard which does have ear holes. They can hear. They can see really well. This is a very strictly nocturnal species. They are out in the night only. A lot of times when I come into the room where they live in here in Once in a While, and I turn the lights on at night, they'll all be out like, she saw us, but they're all out in the nighttime. That's when they're going to be active. That helps them to stay safe from predators. They have great eyesight at night. And decent eyesight during the day, too, if they're out in the day. Pretty cool. Any questions at all? You guys have been an amazing audience so far. Yeah, but there are tons of different kinds of lizards. Let's go ahead and meet another lizard, shall we? So we talked about geckos, bearded dragons. We talked about iguanas. What are some other types of lizards? Can you guys name any other types of lizards? Dragons, yeah. Monitor lizards is another type of lizard. Komodo dragon. There's all kinds of lizards. Can you guys think of any others? Blue-tongued skink. So skinks are another kind of lizard. So in the category of lizards, when we're talking about reptiles, there's also categories of lizards within that category, right? So species of lizards, different groups of them. And there's individual species from those groups. So for example, geckos, there's all different kinds of geckos all over the world. And most are nocturnal, but some are diurnal, like the day gecko. Day geckos are called day geckos, so they're out in the day. Those are the ones that look like the Geico gecko. That's a day gecko. Very, very pretty, very green, gorgeous animal. What are some other kinds of lizards? Want to make sure you guys are still out there. Hello? Hello? Maybe this is a good time to tell you guys about our tipping situation. Of course, the show is free as always, but we do, of course, very much recommend. We very much appreciate your tips and donations via Venmo at Once in a While. And of course, your donations to our Amazon wish list are always fun. We usually open those on live Instagram or Facebook. Anoles is another type of lizard. Yes. Anoles are very, very common here in Texas. And if you guys live in other states, shout out what other states you're from and tell me whether or not you have anoles. But anoles are those kind of like very slender-bodied lizards with long pointy noses, long tails. They can also lose their tail and regenerate their tail. There are green anoles and brown anoles and some other ones too that live in other places. But here in Texas, we have green anoles and we have an invasive species known as the brown anole, which I forget where they're from. Please tell me, herpetologists out there. It slipped my mind right now. I do know where they're from. I just can't remember. Here on live, play Facebook and Instagram. It's hard to remember things sometimes. Oh goodness, live programs are live. But anoles are another type of lizard. Yeah, that we see all the time. Look at her licking her eyeball. She did it. Yes, I was so happy to see that. Can geckos make sounds? Ooh, this is a good question, Angelo. Thank you for that question. Fantastic. The whole word gecko comes from the sound that they make. So not very many lizards besides hissing can make any vocalization. So geckos are very special. You're getting me really excited about this answer. Yes, geckos can vocalize. So there are some geckos, especially tokay geckos is one species. The scientific name for the tokay gecko, are you guys ready? The scientific name for the tokay, not this species, another species, a very big gecko, which is also a climbing gecko. They're like this big. They're huge. A very large, spotted, beautiful gecko. You ready for the scientific name? Gecko. The easiest scientific name to remember ever. There's also iguana. That's the green iguana scientific name, believe it or not, the original iguana. So yes, they can make vocalization. So geckos make a sound that's like this. Are you ready for my gecko impersonation? I know you are. It literally sounds like that. Look it up. I promise. So yeah, so they do make a really cool vocalization that most lizards cannot. That is where the word gecko comes from. You're welcome. Okay, guys, so we're going to say goodbye to the gecko and we're going to learn about one more lizard. Maybe our other gecko will want to say hello again. Just cause. What's better than one gecko is two geckos, right? Adorable. Okay, that's enough. These geckos are nimble climbers sometimes. Goodness gracious. Okay, one more animal today. And you guys have been fantastic as always. Woo! Okay, so this next lizard, remember we're learning about small versions and large versions. We had a small tortoise and a large tortoise, same species, just different ages. We had a small scorpion and a large scorpion, similar sizes as adults, but one's a baby, one's an adult. Now we have totally different species, totally different types of lizards, but one was small. Well, we had a bonus lizard too, two geckos. And this one, let's go ahead and get her out. You guys know her and love her, that you guys that follow us here at Once in a Wild. I bet you're going to be really excited to see her. This is a female, and this is a species from Colombia, a South American species. Ooh, look who it is. Those of you on Instagram can really see her really well. On Facebook, you can see her too, which is really nice. This here, her name is Lulu. Lulu is a Colombian tegu. See her beautiful tongue? Very different than the gecko's tongue, as you can see. The gecko's tongue has to be sticky and wet to be able to lick their eyes, right? I'm going to bring her up to you guys so you can see. This is a Colombian tegu. She is a Colombian black and white tegu for obvious reasons. She is black and white. And that tongue is so different than a gecko's tongue, right? It has a fork on the end of it. Look how beautiful. It is very pink. It is very wet, I'm sure. But that forked tongue is going to tell you that she smells directionally. She's sticking out her tongue quite a bit more. Oh, licking the lips. You are just so cute. So these guys are omnivores too, just like the crested gecko was. But these guys don't eat nectar, at least to my knowledge. They don't really seek out nectar. They might eat fruits and things. Actually, they do eat fruits. I do know that. She might get a little wiggly and try to run away. We're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let her jump at the screen like the crested gecko did. Oh, goodness. She's smelling maybe some peppers over there. Oh, no. Now, how you train lizards. Lizards can be trained. This is a very intelligent lizard. Tegus, in fact, are arguably one of the most intelligent reptiles in the animal kingdom. She's like, can I get away? But what we're going to do is we're not going to grab her and hold her tightly. We're going to let her walk on my hands like a treadmill. And eventually, hopefully she'll give up and say, oh, well, I'll get to run around later. Mom's not going to let me. And I'm not hurting her in any way. We're just training her that these encounters, piece of skin there, that these encounters are a positive experience. We're not going to hold her and make her feel unsafe in that way, like hold her tightly or anything. Like we're holding her, but we're kind of letting her sit on my hands like this. And see how she wants to like walk away? That's okay. I've got a table here. Instagram can see her still. The one good thing about being on a vertical position on social media on the phone. Oh goodness. These guys are very smart, and whatever, you know, I let her get away with, she will try to get away with, but eventually they kind of settle down. She's actually a pretty good girl. Pretty good. So this particular lizard, her name is Lulu, and Lulu came to us from an animal shelter in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She was actually found running around a neighborhood out there. And of course, this is not a North American species. She should not have been in Dallas at all. She is a Colombian species. So we think that it was a released pet or an escaped pet. These guys are pretty common in the pet world. Colombian and Argentine tegus are pretty popular pet lizards. They do get very, very large. The Colombian is smaller than the Argentine tegu, but Argentine tegu males can get upwards of 5 to 6 feet long from head to tail. And Argentine tegu females can get around 4 to 5 foot. So they are smaller. And same thing with the Colombian tegu too. They're both in the same family, and females are smaller than males. So she's a female. She won't be as large as a male would. Let's switch over this way so everybody can see. But they are still significantly large, very intelligent, and very active. So they need a lot of room. So what may have happened is either somebody got tired of keeping her and just let her go, which is very irresponsible. Of course, we don't recommend doing that, of course. If you ever get a pet and you don't want them anymore, you always want to rehome them responsibly, right? Find somebody else that can take care of them for you. That happens to us sometimes. People do hand-me-downs with reptiles and other animals to animal encounter companies like Once in a While. So that happens a lot. Or she escaped. So that's probably what happened. I hope that nobody just abandoned her and let her out in the wild. That would be very irresponsible. But you never know, I guess. But I tend to think that maybe she was in an outdoor enclosure habitat, which is not bad for them. Getting some natural sun and everything is very, very good for them. And maybe she just dug out or escaped. These guys are very, very smart. Like I said, they're also very, very strong. She was about half the size when we got her. And she's grown quite a bit. She's done very well with us. And I was trying to tell you guys that she's actually kind of a wild woman when we got her. Weren't you? You were a wild woman. She wouldn't really like to be handled at all. So over time of having her for, I think like 3 years now I've had her. She's done really, really well with her training. And since they are very smart, intelligent animals, it's very easy to train them to be relaxed around humans and around programs. So all we have to do is show them that these are positive and not negative experiences. We're not forcing her to do anything. If she really, really threw a fit and just did not want to be here, we'll just put her down and let her rest, maybe try again. But if not, then just put her away. They have their tolerance levels. She's done really, really well just by some gentle handling, lots of food and treats. I think she's just going to take a nap. She's shutting her eye over here. You see the eye shutting? Oh, she's going right to sleep. I think she's pretty relaxed now. She's definitely giving up, trying to wiggle away. Let's see if she'll show you her beautiful eyeballs to Facebook. So these guys have eyelids and ears and nostrils and a beautiful forked tongue. They have amazing senses. Oh, so gorgeous. They also have a nictitating membrane, which is a third eyelid. If she blinks again, you'll be able to see it. Wait for it, Instagram. I'll be right back. Let's see if she blinks. Look at her beautiful brown eyes and all the intelligence in her eyes. You can just tell they're always kind of thinking about things and looking around and trying to figure things out. Oh, I think I saw the third eyelid there. So that nictitating membrane or third eyelid, for those of you on Facebook that can see, goes side to side in a swiping manner. And that can actually clean her eye, protect her eye, as well as work as a goggle. If she wanted to go underwater and see, they could swim a little bit. And she could use that third eyelid that goes side to side and is clear to look under the water. Let's see if she'll do it for Instagram. Hello. Maybe we can have her on both. Yeah, so we don't miss out over here on Facebook, right? There it goes. I saw it on one side anyway. Hopefully you guys saw that. Beautiful eyes. Brown eyes. Brown eye girl. Cutie pie. Now that tongue is forked, like I said. It's really, really big. They have a huge pink forked tongue. And that tongue can help them smell directionally. These guys are omnivores, which means they eat both meat and plants. So when they do go after prey, like maybe other lizards, mice, rats, birds, things like that, they might eat. Fish, sure, why not? Anything. They aren't super picky eaters. They can actively hunt, and they use their tongue. She'll stick it out for you again. They use the tongue, yeah, to smell directionally, since they have 2 points on the end of their tongue. That's just like we have 2 ears, right? So having 2 ears on either side of our head helps us hear directionally, most of us, right? And having 2 points on the tongue, just like that, is going to help her to smell directionally. They do smell and taste with the tongue. But as a lizard with a forked tongue, see, she's getting wiggly again. These guys are, you know, they do what they want sometimes. What are you going to do? Like kids. You guys living with your kids right now, you know what I'm talking about. You got to find ways that work for you. Okay, cool. So just settling down again. Get comfortable, mama. Oh, there we go. She's settling right in. Good girl. Beautiful. Hopefully. I don't want to jinx myself. So they have a Jacobson's organ, just like a snake does. Those of you that saw my snake talk yesterday and the day before, we did 2 snake talks this week, a bonus snake talk yesterday. But snakes and monitor and tegu lizards have points on the end of their tongue called a forked tongue. And that helps them to smell directionally, like I said, and they bring their tongue back into their mouth. They rub it up against the roof of their mouth like that. And that is touching the bottom of their brain. And the bottom of their brain has a special organ called a Jacobson's organ. That Jacobson's organ is like a supercomputer for tastes and smells. Pretty cool. That's going to tell them all kinds of information about what they're smelling, including where prey is running off to, where food might be. Now, a favorite food of a tegu is actually an egg. They do eat a lot of eggs, and that is by far Lulu's favorite food too. She likes eggs. We feed her a good commercial dog food for all kinds of nutrients there. She eats bananas. She eats other fruits. She eats bugs. They're not super good at catching bugs. Sorry, you're not very good at catching bugs because, you know, I'm going to give you a plate of food and why would you have to run anywhere? So she's kind of lazy like that. But she does. Hi, guys. She does, closing the eyes again. Take a little nap. I told you she's lazy. They do kind of get used to being fed a plate of food, so their hunting instincts might kind of go away in the care of humans. These guys are not the most aggressive eater ever either. Like a monitor lizard is much more aggressive in general. These guys are really sweet for the most part. Do we have any questions about the tegu? I don't see any questions. Now, one issue with tegus, especially Argentine tegus, but not to say that Colombian tegus aren't part of the problem too, because again, I found her. Well, I didn't find her, but I adopted her from being found in Dallas. She's so cute with her eyes shut. Oh my god. I get distracted because she's so cute. So, not to say these guys can't present the same problem I'm about to tell you about, but down in Florida and other areas in the United States, especially, these guys are an invasive species. Do you guys know what an invasive species is? That means it's an animal species that's gone wild out there in nature that shouldn't be there. So one of the most destructive invasive species all over the planet is actually the cat, the domestic house cat. It's all over the planet causing all kinds of problems. Don't get me started on domestic house cats and why you should keep them inside. Please keep your cats inside for their own health and for the health of all wildlife that they hunt and whatnot. There are many things to talk about when it comes to outdoor cats. Please keep your cats inside. That is beside the point, but that is an invasive species. These guys are actually an invasive species in Florida. What? How did that happen? Now, these guys are from South America, but they're also pets. So a lot of times people, like I said, they'll either get tired of them and let them go, or they'll escape, or things like hurricanes in Florida will happen quite a bit. And hurricanes can destroy buildings where reptiles live sometimes. And sometimes those animals escape. Now, the good/bad thing about Florida is it's a great environment for a lot of lizards to live. So, including invasive species like the tegu. So, these tegu, especially the Argentine tegus, that we're talking about, that species, this is a Colombian tegu, but they're almost the same thing. Those lizards get out and they're thriving in that tropical a tropical Florida environment, and they do very well. They have lots of babies, and those babies have babies, and then yada yada yada. We have more problems, right? More lizards, more problems. And what's the problem with this type of lizard is that they eat anything. So being an omnivore, they're not picky eaters. They eat things like other animals. They eat eggs of animals. So they'll even eat like baby alligators and alligator eggs. And that's a species that we have in Florida that needs to be there because they're from there. They'll eat birds and bird eggs too. They'll eat other species that need to be there and are not doing well. Just like domestic house cats, when they go feral, they can actually eat other species too. Same thing. So that's a big problem with them. So right now, a lot of them are being captured to be either rehomed or otherwise out there in Florida. It's a big problem out there. So we never, ever, ever want to release animals if we're tired of keeping them. You always want to make sure and responsibly rehome them. That is better for the animal and better for the environment all around. I think Lulu's done a great job. She's practically falling asleep now. So they go from like running around to falling asleep. So weird like that. Now we do have some questions, but I'm going to have to put her down for a second for Instagram. Let's see. How many years can he live? Could they be other colors? And that's all I'm going to get you for now on Instagram. So Facebook, let me know if you have any questions too. So how long can they live? These guys are a pretty long-lived animal. I believe they can live into their 20s or 30s. 30s would be very old. Oh my goodness, here we go again. Now that I set her down, she's like, freedom, freedom. Sweetheart, you're fine. I'll put you down in just a little bit. Goodness gracious, just settle in. Everybody wants to see you for a little bit longer. Yeah, that's a great view of her right here. So 20s and 30s. Correct me if I'm wrong, reptile people that know more than me. But 30s would be pretty old. And she is only about four-ish, pretty young. Maybe 5. We don't really know her age, remember, because we adopted her without knowing her hatch day. We adopted her from an animal shelter, which is a great point to bring up. If you are looking for any animal, including lizards or anything, we always want to encourage you guys looking to adopt first, because a lot of animals need homes, even lizards and other reptiles. There are reptile rescues as well as other animal shelters, which might occasionally have a reptile. You never know. So check into that first. She does have a regenerated tail. You might have noticed that on Instagram. Facebook, there's the tail. See how her tail, whoa, it's so long, is a different color from that point on. When we were able to adopt her, she didn't have that part of her tail, but it did regenerate. And for this type of tegu, the Colombian tegu, it ends up being white where it grows back. It doesn't look like the rest of the tail. How interesting. Can they be other colors? Was another question I got on Instagram. Yes. So in the care of humans, we have been able to selectively breed animals to be able to come up with different colorations like albino, and they can be naturally albino as well in the wild. Although albino animals in the wild don't really make it as often. They don't survive because they stand out too much. They don't blend into the natural background because they're not the natural color they should be. They're standing out to their prey as well as their predators. So a lot of times they have a really hard time living in the wild. In care of humans, they may not have a hard time at all. We might be able to take good care of them and they'll be fine. So albino is kind of a yellowy color for the species, I believe. Also red tegus are also a thing too. And there's all kinds of different reptiles that are different colors. But naturally occurring in the wild, to my knowledge, this Colombian tegu is this color only. Pretty cool. Now, tegus are what we call dimorphic. Dimorphic means you can tell the difference between male and female very, very easily. So when they reach maturity, which she's considered to be getting up there in maturity, she's got a couple more years before she would be totally mature to have babies. But at this point in her age, we can tell she's a female. You know how that is? It's actually by the face. So on a tegu, a male tegu, whether they are Colombian or Argentine tegus, have very, very, very fat cheeks. Imagine a lizard chewing a bunch of giant pieces of bubble gum. That's what they kind of look like. Way bigger than that. They look like great big bubbles on the side of their head. And that is going to be only on males. So females don't have those cheeks. See how her cheeks are very petite and feminine, and she doesn't have those fat cheeks at all. Those are her arms sticking out, not cheeks. Your little arms. Ooh. No cheeks. No big cheeks. She has cheeks, but they're just not very big. If you saw a male, you'd know exactly what I'm talking about. So she's a girl because she doesn't have those cheeks. And those cheeks are actually for protection and also to show off for the ladies. So when a male Tegu is all grown up and he's looking for a girlfriend, the bigger the cheeks, the healthier he appears. She will probably select him for a mate. And they're also to help him stay safe from other male Tegus. Have you ever seen a lion that's a male lion and they have a mane? An African male lion has a mane, right? That is a similar feature. They don't have big cheeks. They have big hairy manes because they're mammals. And that is to help them look really handsome for the lady lions, the lionesses, and also to help them to protect their throat from other male lions who might be fighting them. That is a big deal when you are a male lion. So the bigger the mane, the safer your throat is from other male attacks. And the same thing with the Tegu, the bigger the cheeks, the less likely they will be able to kind of get to those vital areas of your throat, if that makes sense. Now, they'll still get an injury if they get bitten, and these guys do have big, well, not big teeth, but sharp teeth up in their mouth, and they could potentially get injured that way, but those big cheeks are going to help them stay safe. Pretty cool. But that is a dimorphism or difference that they have between male and female with the species. Eric is asking over here on Facebook, and I can't use my other hand or else I would highlight your question. Sorry about that. What is their greatest threat? I assume you mean like in the natural environment, like as far as being endangered or something like that. These guys are not endangered. Their biggest threat is probably habitat loss, though, potentially. So they're not endangered, but that doesn't mean they don't need protection, right? In some way, shape, or form. Habitat loss is something that affects animals all over the world, and that is due to humans moving into their territory, into their environment, and taking away their home. So these guys are from Colombia and other areas of South America surrounding Colombia. So the rainforest type animals are definitely not doing the greatest when it comes to being a rainforest type animal, right? They're losing their habitat due to deforestation and things like that. So chopping down of trees for paper and wood. Nothing wrong with using paper and wood. We just want to make sure they're coming from sustainable resources. That way we don't harm any wildlife in their home, right? I wonder if you guys would like to see the way she walks on Facebook. I know on Instagram you can see her. Let's see if she will come this way. Maybe she wants a pepper that the tortoises didn't want. Look at her walk. Walk, baby girl. So lizards, for the most part, kind of have that leg swinging walk. There you go. Her legs are kind of to the side of her body. She's very low to the ground. She might be checking out the computer and things. Look at her walk. You can get to see her tail and everything. She's very smooth. They kind of remind me of a beaded lizard or a Gila monster, but she is not. She's a Colombian black and white Tegu. You can see her tail here where it has grown back. See that? It's a little bit different coloration. It's almost totally white. Pretty amazing. She's going to come back around this way. Trying to get her to walk this way too. Oh. Now, notice she kind of uses her tongue to figure out what's going on around her all the time when she's walking. For those of you on Facebook, would you like some pepper? They can eat pepper. I don't know if she would want it or not. Ugh. You want some? What do you think? She's like, nah, it's not an egg. Egg are my favorite. I didn't think so. She's coming at Instagram too. Well, I think that was pretty cool. I'm so glad you guys got to see our Tegu. And I hope that answered your question, Eric, if that's what you meant. His question again was, what is their greatest threat? So probably habitat loss potentially. But again, these guys are not in danger. They are doing pretty well in the wild, which is always great to talk about. So once again, you guys have been a fantastic audience. I have gone on and on and on and on forever. So we'll go ahead and close. And you guys have been great on Instagram as well as Facebook. Goodbye, Lou. Haha. And we'll let Lou rest here in a minute. Maybe we'll pull out another animal just to say goodbye with. But you guys have been fantastic. And we hope to see you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on Facebook live stream and maybe Instagram live stream every time too. We don't know if we're going to continue every single day, but for sure on Facebook. And I'll go ahead and put Lou away. She's ready to go hang out down below. She's getting very wiggly. That is okay. She's done so well with her training. She's done a really, really good job of being a great ambassador animal, hasn't she? I think so. We'll go ahead and have a tortoise hang out with us. Why not? For the rest of this. Yeah, so those of you that didn't meet Shelton John earlier, he was on the first half of the program for Instagram. Here he is. It's Shelton John, the red-footed tortoise. So you guys have been fantastic as always. We'll go ahead and close. Once again, our Venmo information is down below. If you guys want to tip us via Venmo, that is very much appreciated. If you want to donate to our Amazon wish list, that can be found at onceinawild.com. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll find donate to our cause. Those are always really fun items to receive, and we do open them on social media for you guys to see us opening our gifts for the animals. And we also have our number down below to, if you guys want to book your Zoom room animal encounter. We're offering custom Zoom room animal encounters, perfect for classrooms, parties, all kinds of things. And on Instagram, we're doing a giveaway for a Zoom room right now. If you guys go over to Instagram, you can see on our story, there's information on that. And I thought something was on my face for a minute, but I think it's just a shadow. Thank God. Right? What is on me? Nothing. Okay. Anyway, paranoia. I was like, oh, the whole time. So we do have that contest giveaway for a 30-minute Zoom room. You can always add to it too, of course, but you'll have 30 minutes free. And that's going to be covering 5 animals for a 30-minute Zoom room. Great for classrooms, for small children, or for adults too. Whoever wants a Zoom room, go ahead and let me know. You can call me at 210-445-5240. You guys have been fantastic. Let's go ahead and close with our beautiful song. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30. Woohoo! Say bye, Shelton. Say bye.